If y'all love black people, like this, comment, and share it if y'all love black people.
What you know about rolling down in the deep when you rain?
Please kill me, I'm serious. Please kill me, I'm not singing, I'm asking. Locked in a cage with all the ransoms, with the cracks and now I'm stuck with a scratch and I can't seem to find my way back. Get me out.
Why are you using they, them pronouns? That's not grammatically correct. You should find some pronouns that actually work, okay? Okay. Here you go. Not like that. That's stupid. Those are made up pronouns. You can't... What would you do if I just started using bleep blorp pronouns, huh? You're just making a mockery of the English language now. You know that, right? But you were just...
Not ask you to split the bill on the date that he asked you out on.
If you want to be an independent woman, it starts with that little stuff, especially splitting the bill.
Why are you, a man, telling women how to be independent and what it takes to be independent women? The dude was so pressed about my video where I talked about how if a man asks out a woman on a date, he should be paying for the date. And so you took off your jacket and talked about how you want to make a 3-minute long video out of it? If you don't like a woman who has those expectations of a man, then don't date her. Don't ask her out. Who gave you a right to tell a woman that her expectations are wrong? You trying to control women's expectations and thoughts is not going to help you. I mean, you're definitely not going to achieve anything because I'm not going to change my mind. You see, you say you're a men's rights activist. I can guarantee you that I've done more for men's mental health and things that concern men than you ever will in your lifetime. When you say men's rights, this is what you want to defend. Your right to define for women what is independent or not. Why do you think women should meet your definition of independent women? I'm certainly not interested in doing that. Have you ever just tried to respect individual women's choices? Try it sometime.
My new favorite comment from one of y'all Republicans that have found my TikTok. I'm not putting it up because they don't deserve the clap. But they said, "This is why I homeschool." Bitch, I was homeschooled. This one, I was homeschooled by my grandmother with my brother and my cousin. We were taught from a Mennonite textbook. I spent more hours at church than I ever did in school. I only had 3 subjects in school. English, really outdated English. Math, really outdated ways of doing math because it was from my grandma who grew up in the 60s. And American history. Bill O'Reilly wrote one of my textbooks. Yet here I am in queer.
The single most common outcome of dieting. Oh, sorry, I forgot. We're calling them lifestyles now. But they're still diets. The single most common outcome of dieting is not weight loss, it is weight cycling. This is a very important distinction. By this point, we should all know that within 5 years of starting intentional weight loss, almost everybody will gain all the weight back, and 2/3 of those people will gain back more weight than they lost to begin with. And still, oftentimes when we see people in the weight loss phase of weight cycling, we forget that it is almost inevitably temporary. And even when we know the data, and we know the reasons behind the data, our emotions can get sucked in. And I would just encourage all of us on this health at every size, fat acceptance journey to try to reframe our perspective as much as humanly possible, and understanding that weight loss is a phase, not a destination.
There he goes. This is where I watched my parents die, Raphael. Cowabummer.
And leave. Peace out.
Hey, Club Godzilla, I ain't tricking. I'm just getting bitches down south. Hood baby. Hood baby. Make all the girls go crazy, go stoop, look up, down to the side. Why got me feel a little lazy, shuffle, 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 shuffle. Flip one hand, shoulder.
You know, one of the funnier things to come out of this pandemic is the corporate whining in regards to how nobody wants to work anymore with the unemployment being what it is. Oh no, are the CEOs sad because they can't find workers to exploit anymore? You mean to tell me that people would rather live in the same level of poverty on unemployment rather than go to a place and work for just abysmal wages, get verbally assaulted, sometimes physically assaulted, put in danger due to safety regulations being ignored in the name of cost cutting, not offered any sort of healthcare, not offered any benefits at all, in fact. Like, is it really that hard to understand? But the poor CEOs aren't making nearly as much money. Oh no, are the billionaires unhappy? That's terrible. Why does anyone give a shit about these multi-million billionaires that have built their wealth off exploited labor? Sorry, bud, but if you can't afford to pay your workers a living wage, and they would rather just be impoverished rather than work for you and be impoverished, the problem is you.
So to summarize, for whatever reason, if you restrict your food intake and you don't eat as much as your body wants you to eat, your set point will increase over time. And once you do start eating enough, you will gain weight. And this is why we see for 95 to 98% of people who try to lose weight, they end up gaining all of the weight back eventually. And 2/3 of those people will eventually gain even more weight than where they started in the first place. And I want to be very clear that this is not a bad thing. In fact, this weight gain can be seen as a very good thing because it means that the human body is working the way it's supposed to in order to keep you safe from starvation. But it's also just more evidence for why dieting and weight loss attempts are not effective or worthwhile use of our time and energy. Because if the purpose of the weight loss attempt is, well, weight loss, but the most likely outcome is weight gain, well, it's not really doing what it's supposed to, is it?
If you participated in the Women's March and you are not protesting, donating, or actively speaking out about Black lives, I'm sorry, but you can't call yourself an intersectional feminist.
Hi, I wrote a song. Let's sing it together. There are people who are unhealthy and don't get fat. There are skinny people who eat more than me and don't get fat. If you cared about my health but didn't look at someone else because they're skinny and I am fat, you're just a dick.
Hi, I'm here to complain. I just want to talk about something that, happens to me an awful lot. I am a female-bodied, small person, and I deal with this a lot. Have you ever told someone not to stand that close to you? Have you ever told someone who weirdly thinks you guys are super close friends not to hug you? Have you ever rejected a handshake? Has someone ever offered to do something for you, I don't know, get you a drink or open a door for you and you said no? How did they take it? A lot of people didn't take it well. They act kind of like you're stabbing them with a needle. I ask people not to stand that close to me and not to touch me all the time. When you start rubbing my shoulders and say, "Wow, you're so tense," I wonder why. You didn't ask permission, and yet you're the butthurt one, and I'm the one being touched. Let's see what I'm searching for. Nope. No, that's not it. No, I'm pretty sure it's dead air between my ears.
Hey guys, so we just wanted to hop on here to explain how you can talk to your PWC friends in a way that makes them feel seen.
You can start off by saying something like, I have a lot of PWC neighbors, and do you guys also have a lot of decorations from other cultures and countries like India, different African countries in your house instead of your own things?
And oh my gosh, do you also go to black and brown countries and then just take pictures with the children there?
Do you also have a white savior complex?
That's so exciting. And oh my gosh, Christopher Columbus.
He seems like a huge historical figure to you guys, like the mass genocide, like the looting.
That's so you.
That's so you.
And also just the way that you totally destroy the resources of these other places and then pretend that they're just third world, underdeveloped. They just couldn't, they just couldn't be like PWC.
Yeah, that's a huge part of your
And
history.
also, the way that you guys will pretend that terrorist organizations come out of nowhere when really they're the product of your own foreign policy. This is all so exciting.
So
and it's
exciting.
good to tell.
I've also realized that men are going to objectify me as a woman no matter what I wear. So I'm gonna wear whatever I want to and not feel uncomfortable.
I'm not trying to be conceited, but honestly, sometimes I just look at myself And honestly,
If you've ever heard the phrase health at every size, but you're not sure what that is, this one's for you. Health at every size is an evidence-based medical practice that has actually existed in some form since the 60s, but has only gained significant traction in the last 10 or so years. Health at every size is inherently body inclusive and believes that people, regardless of their size, deserve respect. The major principle of health at every size is that health is better determined by someone's behaviors rather than just their static body weight percentage. It promotes the concept of intuitive eating, which means eating what your body is craving in response to your natural hunger and fullness cues rather than external rules and expectations. It also places a big emphasis on understanding the intersectional nature of health disparities and the importance of ending weight stigma and weight discrimination in both the medical world and the world at large. There are links in the comments if you want more information.
What just happened? Meet supporting me. Check. Introduce myself. Check. Sing random song out of nowhere. Check. Become instant best friends. I'm check. I don't get it.